Start spread the news, buds. The Leafs are on the road to 82-0. You're listening to the Locked On Leafs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.
You're Locked On Maple Leafs, your daily podcast on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello and welcome into the Locked On Leafs podcast, a daily Maple Leaf-centric podcast hosted by myself, Mike DiStefano, and my co-host, Dave Morassutti. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com and win $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. If you would have put $5 on the Toronto parlay tonight, Jays won, Leafs won, you'd be a happy camper. Would have won yourself $300 in bonus bets. And boy, oh boy, Dave, it's good to be a Toronto sports fan right now, ain't it?
The Maple Leafs win.
I wasn't sure where you were going with that one, but I guess Locked On Leafs, that makes sense.
Yeah, I wanted to get,
makes sense.
But also the
Yankees lose.
Bravo.
Man.
What a night. What a night.
Yeah, it's so funny too. Like the fact that the the Maple Leafs were literally playing the Blue Jays game like up on the jumbotron in between intermissions was funny. Like the first couple periods, it was kind of a slow game, kind of a slow game up until really the whole game. It really wasn't that entertaining. It felt as though, like, based on what I was hearing from Scotiabank Arena, the crowd got most engaged during the intermissions. Unlike the Jays, put up some runs, like during the Nathan Lucas hit, was like almost the loudest that they got. And apparently a Go Jays Go chant broke out, which was louder than any Go Leafs Go chant there was that night. And it was the home opener. Like, it's kind of bizarre, to be honest with you. It's kind of unfortunate that the Leafs home opener got drowned out a bit by, the Yankees Jays game here. But hey, either way, if you're a Toronto sports fan, yeah, both your teams come up victorious tonight.
Yeah, it was the toughest juggling of watching two games at the same time. Like, anybody messaging me tonight, or like you were getting like not even half my attention. You were getting like a sliver of my attention.
Yeah,
like someone tried calling me, and I'm just like, nah, not happening.
No, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, I got the Leafs game on the TV, I got the Yankees game on my computer, and then I'm like keeping up with Twitter on my phone. Like, that was pretty much what was going on throughout the entire night here. But yeah, really fun night. It was awesome. Obviously, congratulations to the Blue Jays moving on to the ALCS. If you want to hear more about that game and obviously everything going forward, go check out the Locked On Blue Jays podcast. But here it's the Locked On Leafs podcast. So let's break down the Maple Leafs victory tonight to open the season against the Montreal Canadiens. It was tight until the end, a 2-2 game late in the third. Morgan Rielly, who had a great game, scores the go-ahead goal late. Matthews and Nylander end up with a couple empty netters. So turned out to be a little bit of a wider gap at the end. 5-2 was the final. But the Maple Leafs get the crucial 2 points to start the season, and they're 1-0 en route to a possible 82-0 record. Dave, probably unlikely, but it's still alive. Not alive for Montreal, but it's still alive for Toronto.
Yeah, a lot to kind of build on for the Leafs in this one. I felt like there was good moments, but there were just like times were just like, oh, I'll just put a little more attention to the Jays game because the Leafs are just kind of. It reminded me a lot of that preseason game against Detroit, except obviously they were capitalizing on their chances a bit more, but just like they were really struggling to get a rhythm.
Yeah, like not much flow, right? Not much flow to the game. You didn't have a lot of like grade A chances. There wasn't a lot of rushes, like, on both ends. Kind of sloppy. You had some penalties kind of come up, and it just didn't have much oomph, I would say. Right from the get-go, it felt like. I mean, the Leafs scored early to get that goal pretty early on from Bobby McMahon, and then shortly thereafter, they give up the shorty. And it's 1-1. And then, Montreal takes the lead. Calle Yarncroc ties it. And then you really didn't get a whole lot of anything until close to the end there, when Morgan Rielly, is able to fire it over the shoulder of Montembeault, and that stood as the game winner. And that's kind of the takeaway tonight, was the fact that Morgan Rielly, we come into the year and he talked about how he wants to be more active in the offensive zone. He wants to be able to jump up into the play a little more and get back to doing what he did best a couple of years ago. And tonight was a great step in that direction, man. I thought Morgan Rielly was fantastic.
I thought he was too. It just goes to show that's what makes him worthy of being a top pairing defenseman, is when he is bringing that, that X factor as a offensive defenseman, right?
Mm-hmm.
You were talking during the game just about like certain players not having a shot on goal, and I said, well, at least Morgan Rielly's really engaged, and not long after that he scored. But I mean, you just saw a more focused Morgan Rielly. I think he played with a lot of conviction. He knew exactly what he needed to do. He didn't look like he was second guessing himself at all. So yeah, I think that it's a very big step in the right direction for Morgan Rielly.
Yeah, and he could do that when his partner is Brandon Carlo, as opposed to like Phil Myers, who he had stapled as a partner for portions of last season, right? Or OEL or Simon Benoit, like whoever was playing alongside him last year. Brandon Carlo brings that stability to the back end, right? That gives him the confidence that if he moves up and he activates and he jumps up into the play, he's covered, right? Like Carlo's going to cover him, so he can, on a dime, boom, make that split-second decision to jump up, and put add a little bit of offensive flair to his game, and know that the guy, his partner, has got his back. So hopefully that can continue, right? Like that's one game. Hopefully it's not just a one-game mirage. But if this can be Morgan Rielly this year, the Maple Leafs are going to need that, because again, you're replacing 102 points from Mitch Marner. And, you saw the lack of Mitch Marner tonight. There wasn't a whole lot of creativity out there. There wasn't a lot of game breaking going on. Part of it's the style that Berube wants to play. It kind of lacks that. But, if you can get a little more offense from the blue line, from the back end, from guys like Morgan Rielly, that does help, right? That's going to help them create a little bit more than you would if the blue line doesn't give you much of anything, obviously. Outside of Morgan Rielly, though, I thought Anthony Stolarz was probably the next best Leaf for the longest time. Could have said he was the best Leaf, and the real reason why they won the game, because for most of the game, it felt like Montreal was the better team, at least had more chances. But Anthony Stolarz, in his first game here after signing the new contract, pretty solid outing for Tony Stolarz.
Yeah, I thought he was pretty steady. I didn't care for the first goal that he allowed, but it was also just a brutal play that shouldn't happen when you're on the man advantage. But I just thought he was pretty comfortable in the net. He wasn't doing more than he needed to, and Montreal missed some opportunities, but I felt like
even the second goal, like I don't really give him a lot of flack on that one. That's more like why did OEL miss his guy? Even Max Domi, like the fact that they just let who was it? Who scored? Why am I blanking? Who scored the second goal there for Montreal?
Bolduc.
Bolduc, yeah. Captain scored the first one. Yeah, Bolduc kind of comes in from the boards and just skates all the way through the neutral zone, skates across the crease, goes untouched. It's like there's two guys there that easily could have made sure he did not go into that area and get there as easy as he did. So a little bit of a lack of coverage on that one that kind of gave Bolduc the easy tap in from the side of the net. So even on the second one, kind of left high and dry there, bad defensive coverage. Not going to fault him on that one, but hey, he did enough. He made enough stops. He made more stops than Samuel Montembeault did on the other side there for Montreal, and did enough to get the Maple Leafs the win. It did enough to get him the 2 points. We'll dig into the numbers a little bit on the other side. We'll get to our 3 stars of the game and the curious situation with Easton Cowan, called up, then healthy scratch. What's going on? Is this going to continue? We'll get to that and more next in the Locked On Leafs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day. The NHL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5. If it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Doesn't matter. You can use it on parlays, on single props. You can use it on futures, even live lines. Just go ahead. Whether you're a casual fan, you love diving into the stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. The Locked On Leafs podcast continues. Mike DiStefano, Dave Morassutti with you, as we are each and every weekday, Monday through Friday, with brand new episodes delivered straight to you wherever you find a podcast, whether it's Apple Podcasts, whether it's on Spotify, YouTube. Subscribe. Make sure you get your daily dose of Maple Leafs content delivered to you. Just subscribe to the Locked On Leafs podcast. So we'll get to the 3 stars of the game in just a moment, like we do after each and every game. But there were some concerns, I would say, within this game. Some cons, some pros and some cons, as, they're expected to be early in the season. Not everyone's in midseason form. But the fact that both Auston Matthews and William Nylander, besides their empty net goals, both went without a single shot on net tonight is very, very odd to see. Not ideal for either of those two to get rubber on net.
You messaged me and said, still no shot for Matthews in this game. I was going to text you, are you sure? And I'm like, well, let me double check. Mike's usually pretty on the ball with this stuff. And I'm like, wow, okay. Yeah. I said that then led to my least Riley issue.
Let me double check. Unless they went back, no, they're still only credited with 1 shot each, and it was the empty net goals. Those are the only shots on goal. So they didn't register a single shot on Montembeault all night long. Those are the guys who are supposed to lead you. Those are the guys that are supposed to put the puck in the back of the net. And I thought they were kind of invisible tonight, to be honest. I was very disappointed in Auston Matthews' game. You look at the underlying numbers, you dive into the numbers here. Auston Matthews, the shot share, the Maple Leafs were outshot 13-7 when he was, 9-6 when he was out there on the ice, but the shot attempts 21-10 at 5-on-5 when he was out there on the ice. In terms of expected goals, just a 25% expected goal share for the Maple Leafs while he was on the ice tonight. Not what I expected to see from Auston Matthews in a season opener, in a home opener, when all eyes are on you in what's a big prove-it year without Mitch Marner.
The worst part of it, too, is not even the 5-on-5, is the power play. There was the power play where they hadn't had a shot on goal. They're passing it around and passing it around. I'm like, are we really going to be doing this again? And I was in a group chat and I said this, and somebody's like, it's game 1, man. I'm like, we've been seeing this for how many years, guys? This is not. I'm usually a pretty rational person, but
if I'm reading this correctly, Dave, I know the Leafs didn't get. They had 2 power plays tonight, so there wasn't a lot.
Yeah,
2 power plays, I think, and they got scored on one of them. So that's very unideal. Auston Matthews, while on the power play, Dave. So we talked about the 5-on-5 numbers being outshot 9-6. On the power play, outshot 4-0. They didn't get a single shot on goal, PP1 tonight, while Auston Matthews was on the ice, and they allowed 4 shots and obviously also allowed the goal as well, goal against on the power play. Brutal start, man.
That can't happen. And again, I'm not one of those people that are bringing this up for no reason. We have seen this before. There's no reason for this Leafs team to be that loosey-goosey on the power play. Every other team shooting it, setting up shots. These guys were just comfortable moving the puck around. I'm like, Craig Berube, I guarantee, was probably losing his mind.
Yeah,
seeing his players doing that, because you're not going to find success shooting from those low percentage areas. You have, and then when they did try to feed the middle, right? When they tried to feed it into the slot, Matthew Nyes had a couple guys on. Like, they just did not make it easy to set up those plays in the slot, which I guarantee is what they're trying to do. That's their focus. Well, it ain't going to work if you're not willing to take opportunities to move the puck and shoot it and get these penalty killers kind of moving a bit.
Yeah. The other concerning thing, the shutdown pair, Chris Tanev and Jake McCabe, gave up a lot in their defensive zone tonight. Again, as a pair, just not great. I mean, you look at the shots for and shots against. Yeah, I mean, here it is. So you're looking at the game score by Dom decision. Jake McCabe and Chris Tanev both heavily in the negatives. Heavily in the negative.
Guys in the negative. Matthews in the negative.
Yeah, that's not what you want to see, man. You don't want to see those guys. They're top players, and they're all in the negative here for you. You don't like when. I mean, it's nice. Obviously, Morgan Rielly, by far and away the best player on the ice tonight, which makes sense. The numbers and the eye test tell me that. But you would need to see far more from Chris Tanev, and especially defensively. That guy's usually a stalwart, and he was on the ice tonight. The shot share was 31-13 in shot attempts when he was on the ice. An expected goal share, 16%. Jake McCabe, 14% expected goals for the Maple Leafs while he's on the ice. The scoring chances, 18-8. 7 high danger chances against as well. Outshot, out high danger chanced. It wasn't good for those two. Now, again, luckily the goaltender was quite good tonight. So, they weren't, on the ice for goals against. I think Tanev actually was on the ice for one of the goals there, but not a good night for that pairing and for a couple of the big boys on this team. But it's game 1 of 82. They still got the win at the end of the day, so we shouldn't pick it apart too much. But there was some things definitely that they can build on. And heading into game 2, that's certainly a couple things that you'll be watching. How does that pair respond? And how does Matthews and Nylander respond offensively? Can they get their game going? Because you didn't love what you saw out of them in game number 1. But there were some positives to the game, obviously. So let's quickly get to the 3 stars of the night, Dave. Who was your first star?
I had to be Morgan Rielly.
Yeah.
Game-winning goal. Just solid on both ends. Him and Brandon Carlo. They were the first pairing, right? They played like the first pairing tonight. I know they're not seen as the shutdown pairing, but they brought it. And it was nice to see, again, Morgan Rielly looked good to start. Let's hope it can continue. Yeah,
that's what you need to see out of him. I had him as my number 1 player as well. Morgan Rielly was out there, had a positive shot share. Positive expected goal differential when he was on the ice. Not something you could say about a lot of the, star players tonight, obviously. And he had the game winner and just showed assertiveness out there, which is what you need to see out of Morgan Rielly. 2 points on the night, goal and a helper. He was definitely the first star. Second star, Anthony Stolarz, I would say, was definitely the Maple Leafs' second star, almost a 1B, 1A, 1B. But Stolarz, thought he came up big because the Habs had opportunities. They certainly had opportunities. They technically did win the expected goal, the underlying numbers. But Stolarz, he was the better goaltender tonight, that's for sure, and saved enough shots to get them to win. So Stoley, the goalie, 29 saves tonight, only gave up 2, 935 save percentage. He gets our second star.
Yeah, he's that contract continues to look good.
Hey, game 1 of 50 too, huh? 1 of 50 maybe? Could be. All right. Third star of the night, Dave.
Yeah, this one's kind of tough, but I'm going to go with Kelly Yarncroc.
Hey, boy, Calido.
He, considering wasn't expect, people are, and we talked about, maybe it's a little premature to expect him to not be on the team going forward and all that. But, he came up with the goal. Just simple. Go to the net, get your rebound. Almost had another goal where he did a nice toe drag, just couldn't finish it off. I hard to not like what his game was like tonight. I think if you're trying to earn the coach's trust, don't be a problem defensively. It wasn't the greatest defensive effort from the fourth line, I thought. But I thought they had, they found ways to bring some energy into the offensive zone. Obviously, score a goal too. That's big. So I liked what I saw from him leading the fourth line.
Yeah, I like Steve Lorentz's game tonight as well. He ended up with a couple of points. He had 2 helpers. Had a really nice chance too, where he took the puck to the net and kind of got tripped up a little. No call in the play, but took the puck to the net, so he had that scoring opportunity. But you look at his night. I mean, played 12 minutes, but he had 2 points, 2 helpers, 6 hits, couple blocks, killed some penalties for you. So Stevie Lorentz, not a guy who's going to obviously play a lot every night, but he's usually plays a competitive game. And I thought tonight he was out there, laid the body a little bit and was responsible, unlike a lot of other guys out there tonight. And again, you look at the entire team. He was 4th in expected goal differential tonight, 69% expected goals in favor of the Maple Leafs when Steven Lorentz was on the ice. So just goes to show that, Lorentz didn't see a whole lot of ice time, but when he did, he was efficient when he was out there. So he gets my 3rd star of the game. So that puts a bow on it. Leafs win 5-2. There's some things to work on for sure moving forward. But going ahead, and what's this game? Saturday next game? They play on
yes.
Is it Saturday or is it Friday? Saturday.
I've been looking too much at the Jays schedule.
I know. Yeah. Next game Saturday. So they had a couple days off to take a peek at the film, figure out how they can work on some of those issues and come back with a better effort Saturday against the Detroit Red Wings and continue on to the journey of going 82-0. Up next, Easton Cowan did get the call up on opening day as people expected, but did not get into the lineup. We'll chat about that and why I don't like this at all. That's next here in the Locked On Leafs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day. The Locked On Leafs podcast continues. Mike DiStefano, Dave Morassutti with you as we are each and every weekday, Monday through Friday, free and available wherever you get a podcast. We're reacting to the Maple Leafs 5-2 win over the Montreal Canadiens on opening night. We're 1-0 to start the season. And moving on, next up, the Detroit Red Wings Saturday night, first hockey night in Canada game. Hopefully the Maple Leafs can continue and get to 2-0 that evening. So early today, you saw a little notification that Easton Cowan was recalled by the Toronto Maple Leafs. Jacob Quillen sent down to the Marlies, and it was something that was talked about. Obviously Easton Cowan didn't make the initial roster a couple of days ago, and there were some reports that it could have been more of a paper move, some cap shuffling, if you will. Turns out that was somewhat true. But then Easton Cowan gets the call up today, but then sitting up in the press box, didn't actually draw into the lineup, Dave. Did that surprise you?
It didn't surprise me just because he hadn't been practicing as a mainstay on that fourth line. But at the same time, he's been there all camp and all that. I do understand that aspect of it. But yeah, I wasn't a fan of seeing him.
That's my question. Then what's the point?
Yeah.
That's it. Why? If you're not going to play him, why are you having him here up on the roster? Why doesn't he try and gain some chemistry with some guys that he's going to be playing with down in the Marlies if that's the case?
The one argument that I did see was maybe, the Marlies are not starting their schedule yet. So
no, but they still have their training camp. They're still out there practicing. Like I said, he could still gain some chemistry with some guys if he's going to play down there, try and see who he works best with.
I guess it just all comes down to where they expect him to start, right? If they expect, or where they if they expect him to get into an NHL game soon, okay. But if he's going to spend the first few days in the press box, I totally agree. Like this should not be the case. I've been adamant on this. The only reason I want to see Easton Cowan on this Leafs team is see if he is going to be in the lineup.
Yeah.
Right. What I do think it could be a possibility is that in the next game, like a guy like Nick Robertson comes out and Easton Cowan draws in.
Yeah.
Like, I probably see that. Now, if we don't see that and Easton Cowan is sitting in the press box again, if I'm Brad Treliving, I said, okay, we'll send him down. Like this is not what we're gonna do.
Sure, but I'd imagine that Tree
had that conversation.
Craig, like they know what they're doing. Like it's not like Billy Bean in Moneyball where he's going down and he's like, the manager's like, that's my lineup card. I'll do it how I can. I'll set the lineup how I think we can win or whatever the hell he says. Like that's not the situation. They're very much on the same page. And Treliving knows calling up Cowan today did not mean he was playing. Like that was part of the plan, clearly. I just don't understand why. Like if you're not going to if you're bringing Cowan up, play the guy. Like it just, I don't get it. I would expect for him to get into the lineup. As you mentioned, it makes sense for him to kind of filter into Nick Robertson's spot, have him come out of the lineup. He wasn't all that noticeable. Shot the puck. I think he had 4 shots, but it wasn't all that noticeable. So I think you can bring Cowan in, see what he looks like on that line against Detroit on Saturday. But it just, I don't know, man. It's a weird situation there where it's like, what was the point of bringing him up today if he wasn't going to play so that he gets an NHL salary for the day as opposed to an AHL salary? Like all of a sudden the Maple Leafs are doing people solids, doing them a bonus. Yeah. Like, I don't know. It just rubbed me the wrong way. I thought for sure if he was going to make the team or if he was going to get called up, he was going to end up on the roster. But he didn't. So it was just a bit perplexing. But I'm with you. I do expect for him to get into the lineup for sure on Saturday. I'd be shocked, actually, if he didn't. And if he doesn't, to your point, there really is no reason for him to be around. Like, it's just not good for his development. Although, when does the Marley season start? I guess at that point, like Marley's schedule, like I know that they start a little bit later, but I'd imagine that they're going to get going in the next
Saturday. I think Friday is their first game.
Friday, okay. So Friday, so that's what I mean, right? So like they're off till Saturday. He could have played in that Friday opener. Like why wouldn't? Still can, I suppose, but like why not? Why not put him in that game Friday? Or what's the point of calling him up for 1 or 2 days to get him a couple practices? Probably could you, if he's going to play Friday, have him practice with whoever the hell is going to play on. He's going to play with on Friday, like Luke Haynes or Ryan Tverberg, whoever the heck his line mates are going to be. You know what I mean? Like it just kind of bizarre. But we'll see what happens with him. I hope this isn't. I hope this isn't a situation where like they call him up, he plays a couple games, they put him back down, he comes back up, he sits a couple, plays a couple, sits a couple, plays a couple, goes back down. Like I don't want to see the yo-yo with Easton Cowan. Kind of make a decision and let him get a run either at the NHL level or at the AHL level and kind of see where he's at. He's never played pro hockey. Like going to the American League isn't a bad thing. Lots of great hockey players, have cut their teeth in the AHL for a year or two before making it to the NHL. Lots of first rounders at that. So wouldn't be a terrible thing if he ends up playing a majority of the season in the American Hockey League. But setting up in the press box on opening night was just a weird thing for me.
It made a lot of sense, that's for sure.
Yeah, not a whole lot. So there's some breaking news tonight. Looks like the Maple Leafs, or not the Maple Leafs, the Edmonton Oilers have made another signing. So they lock up Connor McDavid, they lock up Jake Wallman, they lock up Matthias Ekholm, and now they're bringing in some reinforcements. Sounds like Jack Roslovic is heading to Edmonton. Dave, do you have the details on this?
Yeah, I mean, Elliot Friedman with the classic, It's looking like, as mentioned, hearing Oilers have re-engaged with Roslovic, and he's like, yeah, no, he's going to be signing there.
Yeah.
I didn't get a dollar figure because that's kind of an interesting, like, we
Probably
know
a
that
one-year deal, I would imagine. I'm just curious. Let me see what
I
they're.
didn't see I didn't see any contract details in terms of what, like, how what his salary is going to be. Actually, what's the Oilers cap?
Well, that's what I want to see the cap is. Like the projected cap space, 1.8 million. They got 1.8 million in cap space right now that they could, I guess, give him that money. But that's with Hyman on LTIR at some point, Hyman and Matthias Janmark are going to come back. They're going to need that money at some point, I guess. You would think. So I don't know. I'll be curious to see what that contract comes in at. But regardless, doesn't matter. He's signed long term, or he's probably going to sign a 1-year term. It's happening no matter what the money is, and that's pretty good signing for the Oilers.
It makes a lot of sense for Edmonton when you consider what they've been doling out.
Yeah, they need some top 9 help.
Yeah, they definitely do.
Yeah, can't just be McDavid. And he scored 22 years ago, or 22 goals last year.
Yeah,
Like 22 last year in Carolina. So Jack Roslovic, 1 point, was considered possibly a Maple Leafs free agent addition. Looks like he's going to Edmonton to link up with McDavid instead of Matthews. So just a little last little bit of news that came out shortly after the Maple Leafs game. So yeah, that's the latest for you there when it comes to Jack Roslovic, really the final free agent that everyone was waiting on. He signs. Anything else you want to get into? Any other news that you saw kind of percolating? Or
well, I mean, we had a bunch of signings before the season. These games started. You had Kyle Connor in the morning, literally came about last night. That was happening.
Yeah,
he signed for $12 million.
Jack Eichel,
13.5. Even Ekholm signed too. Like busy few days for especially the Oilers.
Free agent,
you get an extension. Everybody gets an extension.
Well, it's just funny because again, like a month ago, we're talking about how crazy next year's free agent could be, right? And should the Maple Leafs kind of keep the powder dry in case some of those free agents get to July 1, have an abundance of cap space? And now all of a sudden it's like, who the heck's going to be there? Like, it's not going to be an electric July 1 at all now. Because, like Rantanen ends up signing, Marner ends up signing, McDavid, Kaprizov, Kyle Connor, like Jack Eichel just signs today. Panarin might be like the only guy who might leave.
Yeah, I think Panarin right now would be kind of seen as the leader in terms of the top guys that could be available for next year.
Yeah, like I'm
Panarin, Martin Necas is another one. I mean, he's not like a star. Adrian Kempe is also up for a deal as well. He's underrated player in my opinion. But it's just really lacking like that. Again, it's similar to last year as you see potentially who could be available, and then it's like David's like, yeah, I'm sticking around, and then Kaprizov's doing the same. And it's just everyone's like, okay, looks like we're all just gonna go back to our teams.
So it's a good thing that True Living was able to get Tavares to sign long term, right? A good thing he was able to get Nyes to sign long term. Like these are two guys that obviously will be part of this team moving forward, and there's not a lot of guys who are going to be available next summer to replace those if they were to walk. Well, yes, Nyes an RFA, but you know what I mean.
It also speaks to the danger of people saying, you don't want to spend too much. You want to leave yourself the ability to go and get guys in the next few free agency years. It's like, well, joke's on you because those guys ain't there.
They're not there, man. Like none of them are there for whatever reason. But yeah. All right. That's the last little bit of news, a little bit of NHL news and notes to end off the show. Big win for the Dubs, for the Buds. Big win for the Jays. That'll do it for us here today on the podcast. I'd like to thank you all for listening and supporting the show. You can subscribe to the Locked On Leafs podcast on all platforms and receive daily Leafs content. Follow myself on Twitter at Mickey_Canuck. Follow Dave at D_Morassutti, and follow the show as well at Locked On Leafs. We'll be back with another episode for you guys tomorrow. Until then, keep it locked right here on Locked On Leafs.